So I'm trying to get some rest. Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got something quite unusual for you today, I think. It's a puzzle called Stranger in a Strange Land. It's by Wooshel. It's been recommended to us a lot, and it actually comes in two forms. The form I'm going to attempt it in is this, which is dynamic fog. But there is another version, I think, where the grid is completely visible. And I am told that that version is therefore harder because the way that the fog is going to work is it's going to guide us to some extent through the solve. But two of the testers have looked at this and they said that this puzzle is quite hard enough in this form, even when we're sort of being guided to the answer. So I'm looking forward to having a go at this. It's a slightly weird experience. And yeah, we're only going to know what the puzzle looks like once hopefully we finish the puzzle. There's a bit of yin-yang going on, and the yin-yang is going to be affecting the values of cells, either pushing them up by one or down by one. Is that sometimes called something like Napdanarben, or am I making that up? I might be. That could be completely wrong. I apologise if so. But anyway, apparently this is a wonderful puzzle, and it's what I plan to do in the video today. Now, I will warn you, my voice is starting to fail me. I fear illness is upon me, and I don't like that. It makes it much harder to record videos if I can't think properly and I can't speak properly. But I apologise for any croakiness. I will endeavour to soldier through. Now, what else do I need to mention before we kick off? I have got some birthdays to do. I'll mention that, oh yes, I know, one thing I'll mention is that tomorrow, I'm delighted to tell you that the video of my solve with Chainbear, the Formula 1 YouTuber, will be going live on the channel, 10 AM UK time. Do check it out. Do drop a kind comment. I've really enjoyed, actually I've enjoyed all of the solves I've done with either viewers from the channel, but also from well-known YouTubers so far, and I hope there'll be more to come. But yeah, it's a little bit of a, I think, well, you'll learn more about who might win the Formula 1 World Championship as well, so definitely check it out. What else? Over on Patreon, we have got the solution videos live for this month's competition, the Paint by Numbers Institute Where's My Mama Sudoku Hunt. They are up there, so if you did struggle on any of the puzzles, you can watch those videos and check them out. There's loads of extra content over on Patreon, crossword solves, connections videos, bonus solves of long, hard puzzles. So do join us over there if you're looking for extra content. And let's do some birthdays. Let's firstly, over in Prague, say a very happy birthday to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you've turned 34, and I know this because your best friend, is it Zuzka? I hope I'm pronounced that correctly, but Zuzka wrote and told us that you find the videos interesting and soothing. So I'm very pleased about that, and I hope you have a great birthday today, with, of course, a large slice of heavily iced chocolate cake. Somebody who won't be having chocolate cake, but we'll be having durian cake. That's a fruit, isn't it? Or am I making that up? But Zhao has turned 29 over there in Portugal. And I know you've turned 29, Zhao, because your partner Susan wrote to me. And I think is she in Australia or based in Australia? And wanted to say a happy birthday to you. So I am doing that now. Zhao, many happy returns. I hope the two of you can spend some time together soon, and I hope you get the durian cake you're after. Someone else whose birthday it is, who you may have heard the name before, Marusha Dark. It's your birthday today. I know this. I don't know how I know this, but it's in my diary. So happy birthday, Marusha. And then Mina, it's your birthday, and I know this because your dad, I hope I'm going to say this correctly. Is it Cave? Wrote to us and told us that the two of you solved the puzzles on the channel together, and you have currently solved over 600 of the puzzles that we've featured in videos. That is phenomenal. Really well done with that. And you like Fog of War? Well, here we go. Although your dad said intermediate Fog of War. I think that has 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters, so it might be tricky. I don't know, but the two of you solving it together, I'm sure you'll get through it. And Mina, I hope you have a very happy birthday. And that's all the news. Let's have a look at Stranger in a Strange Land, which I think was that an early science fiction book? Oh, bobbins, my brain. It's by Robert Heinlein or something. It's about somebody who comes to live on Earth from Mars, isn't it? I think I've read it, but it was a long time ago. Anyway, I don't know what that's got to do with the puzzle, but these are the rules of this one. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Dynamic fog. The grid is covered in fog. Correctly entered digits may clear parts of the fog. Guessing is not required and discouraged. I like that. It's very clear. Yeah, so obviously, we could reveal... Well, although with dynamic fog, it's unclear what would be revealed. But let's just say we could go into the fog, guess all of the entries, and eventually we'll hit upon the right combination. And I suppose eventually it will finish the puzzle. That is absolutely not the intention. The idea is that we're going to be able to discern something by studying these cells here, and gradually make our way into the fog and clear it logically. Now the next rule is yin-yang. Shade some cells such that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected and all unshaded cells are orthogonally connected. No 2x2 area is fully shaded or fully unshaded. The value of a shaded cell is 1 greater than its digit, and the value of an unshaded cell is 1 less than its digit. So let's deal firstly with the possible way that we could be shading the puzzle. So imagine those squares were shaded and these squares were unshaded. This would be a valid shading of the puzzle, ignoring all of the mathematics, because basically if you double click the oranges, you can see you can trace through this orange pattern, always moving through orange cells that share edges with other orange cells. We never had to go through that cell, for example, because this cell only touches these two oranges diagonally at a point. That's not good enough for an orthogonal connection. So that couldn't be the pattern. And the same is true for the green. And I think in the grid you will not find any single 2x2 area where just one colour exists. So this is a possible shading, and that is called yin-yang. But then in this puzzle we've also got the adjustment in value. It's the shaded cells are 1 greater and the unshaded cells are 1 less than their digits. Then we've got region sum lines. So box borders split blue. That doesn't look blue to me. That looks purple. I'm so colourblind. Box borders split blue lines into segments. The sum of the values on a segment is the same for each segment. Some of the values on a segment is the same for each segment. Different lines may have different totals. So let's try and analyse this one and just see if we can understand it. So this is the only cell in this box of this blue line, in inverted commas. Those 2 cells, those 5 cells, and those cells there. So what we're being told is that the values, and bear in mind everything's going to get thrown around by the shading, the values of those 2, you sum them, is going to be the same as the sum of those 5, is the same as the sum of those 2, is the same as the sum of that 1. That is what we've got to do. And we've also got Kropke pairs. So on a black dot, I can see one of those. One value is double the other. On a white dot, values differ by 1, and not all dots are necessarily given. So this concept of value is going to be critical today, I feel. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. And as we were doing the example then and splitting up this line, with region sum lines like this, it's often good if you can find one stretch in a box that's very lengthy, like this 5-cell stretch here, the sum of those has got to equal the sum of that. So that's going to be difficult. I mean, ordinarily it would be absolutely impossible, because the minimum sum of those digits would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is 15. And the maximum this could be would be a 9. Right, okay, so there's a bit of a gimme here, I think, because what we're basically being told is what's the minimum value these blue cells could have. Well, if they were the exact digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we reduced every single one of them by 1, they would have a value of 10. And there's no way I can make this have a value of more than 10. Even to get to 10, it has to be a 9 and be increased in value. So I think what we're being told here, we're going to have to decide on colours for shaded versus unshaded. I think we're being told this is a 9. Oh, we get an infinity sign down here. We're being told these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're being told they are 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're being told that all of those are unshaded, aren't we? We want to reduce their value. So let's have, what should we have? Orange versus orange dark green feels like it might be a nice contrast. Especially if I put blue on the blue line. Yeah, I think the orange is slightly easier to see. Right, so now these squares. Oh, I tell you what, yin yang. Yin yang. We can't have a 2 by 2 that's entirely one colour, so that must be green and be increasing in value. These have to sum to 10, but we don't know their colours. Okay. I mean, actually, maybe I should have started. Well, it's difficult with this puzzle because you're sort of guided where to start, but let's just mention a couple of the secrets of yin yang that emerge from the rules. We are not going to be able to have any checkerboarding in this puzzle. And that's because of the requirement that both colours have to orthogonally connect to themselves. And you can see if we did have a checkerboard to connect these two oranges, whatever route we took, we would isolate one of the greens from the other green. We couldn't then orthogonally connect the greens together. So there won't be any checkerboarding. And what I suspect we're going to have to do is think about the perimeter as well. Now, in a yin-yang puzzle, we can't have too many stretches of perimeter colour. So let's say we had this pattern. Is this possible? No is the answer, because this is just an exploded example of the checkerboard. In connecting these greens together, we're going to isolate this orange from this orange. So we can have two colours in the perimeter. We don't just, it's not the case. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen it where one colour is in the perimeter only. That's possible, absolutely possible. But if we do have any green on the perimeter, once that green ends and we go back to orange, it must stay orange until it gets back to orange again, because we can't have a second change of colour. So if for some reason we knew there was a change of colour here, well, it wouldn't be dramatically helpful yet, but it would be interesting. But let's think about the infinity then. So the infinity's got something weird going on. Those squares are very strange, because they're 3 one-cell segments, and they've all got to have the same value. Right, so I think there's a checkerboarding thing going on here. Whatever this is, let's just say it was 5 for a moment. It's going to be 5, and let's say we increased its value to 6, so we made it a green digit. then how do we get the values of 6 into these squares? Neither of them can be 5 increased, so they both have to be 7 decreased, wouldn't they? And what I'm seeing there is that these would be 7s decreased. But then this square couldn't be an increaser, because then we would just create an immediate checkerboard. So this one is the same as those. And if we decreased this, then these would both increase, and this would have to be an increaser. So these three, okay, I don't really know how to pencil mark this, but these three are the same, and they are different from that one. But I don't know how to relate them yet to increase it, is sort of increasing and decreasing values. Although, having said that, it's more likely this is a decreaser, isn't it? Because we've got loads of digits here. This can't be a 9. So the maximum size of this is a bare naked 8, but then increased, which would make it a value of 9. And then, so how does this work? If this was 1, 2, 3, 4, it would have a value. Well, it wouldn't have a value of 10. It would have an unadulterated value of 10. But then it would depend. Oh, it can't all be the same. So we couldn't make all of these yellow. So, yeah, okay. So this can't, I'm going to claim, and this might be wrong, but the first thing I'm going to claim is that however this is shaded, it's not shaded 2 of one and 2 of another. And that's because if it was, its value overall would not change from its naked digits. So if we take as the example 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we increase 2 of those digits and decrease the other 2, the net effect is 0, which would mean the value of these 4 squares is 10, and I cannot make this have a double-digit value because it can't be 9 increased. So this is not 2 yellows and 2 reds. And it's not all yellow and it's not all red for the reasons of 2 by 2-age. So it is 3 of one and 1 of another. So, okay, which has a net effect on the total of plus or minus 2. Well, it can't be plus 2, can it? Because if it was plus 2, this would have a minimum value of 12. So it's minus 2. Which means the value of this is either, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the net effect is 2 minus, that has to have a value of 8, which would actually make it have to be a 7, because we couldn't get 9. We couldn't put 9 in there and decrease it. So option 1, this is 7. And then if this was, hang on, so if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, well no, 1, 2, 3, 5 is going to be my next guess. If this was 1, 2, 3, 5, it would have a naked value of 11. We could reduce that to being 9 by having 3 negators and 1 increaser there. And then this has to have a value of 9. And that's possible because you make this 8 and you increase it. This is complicated. This is really complicated. Okay, but that means that these digits definitely include 1, 2, 3. They definitely include the digits 1, 2, 3, and then either 4 or 5. And this is always an increaser, isn't it? Ah, that would be an important deduction. Yeah, if this was... Hang on. Yeah, if that's an 8, which is the most it could be, and it decreased in value, the value of it would be 7. I can't make these add up to as little as 7. Yeah, so this is... Right, so this is definitely green. These are definitely orange. And within this panoply of digits, there are 2 more oranges to come and 1 green. And that's supposed to apparently tell me something. There's definitely 1, 2, and 3 in here. These are from 6, 7, 8, 9, and 4 or 5. And these are 2... Oh, okay. No, I don't know actually. I'm not sure. I was going to claim that there had to be a change of colour here, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Imagine this was green, those are both orange. Oh, then there would have to be a change of colour. Oh, hang on, no, maybe there does. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, now I think there does have to be a change of colour. Because there are 3 basic arrangements of these 3 digits. One of them is this, which is the symmetrical counterpart of the version I just did, where these 2 were orange. And the point there is these can't both be orange, can they? So one of these would have to be green, which means we have got a change of colour in the perimeter. And the same is true if these 2 are both orange and this is green. And the other thing is, if this is green and these 2 are both orange, this green has to get out and touch this green. So again, the green is going to hit the perimeter. So, okay, so maybe all we can say is something here is green. We don't know, actually. I don't think we do... No, I don't think we do know that any of these are orange, but we do know that something here is green. It could, I think, be all green. If it was all green, those 2 are orange and that's green. That looks absolutely fine, doesn't it? Right. So, there is some green here, so there are 2 colours in the perimeter. And somehow or other, we have to do something with this. What on earth? Oh, I see. Hang on, do I know what these are now? Oh. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, it's so weird, though. It's so weird. Right. Hang on, am I even wrong? I might be wrong. Hang on. Okay, if this... No, I am wrong. I'm now not sure, actually. If this is 8, it has a value of 9, doesn't it? This is so strange. I don't think that can work, because I don't think there's a way of filling these 2 cells. So let me just bear with me here. If this is 8, because we know it's an increaser, it has a value of 9. Now, how do I create a value of 9 in those squares? The point is, they both have to be 10s. They're both reducers. And that's impossible. So this is 7. Oh, goodness me. Wow. Okay, so this is 7, but these now... So 7 has the value of 8. These have to be 9s reducing. No fog. Okay, but this is good, because it now tells us these values. Because now, yeah, these have to have a value of 8, and the only way we could get to 8 is if they were 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 3 oranges, 1 green. And so now, yeah, we've sort of got the inversion of box 3, haven't we? We've now got huge great digits in the wings. And we can't have... Oh, now it's even more broken, because you can't have 9 at the end of the sequence. That just looks absolutely broken, doesn't it? Because 9 is internal to a sequence. I mean, so just for a moment, let's imagine there's no adulteration in the puzzle. There's no greening and oranging of the digits. How could 9 be consecutive as an internal sequence? You can't go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 round here, but I suppose you can in this puzzle. You can create you can create a value of, yeah, but you can't. The 9 cannot be increased on the if the 9 is increased, or can it? No, it can't be increased. So let's just imagine. Well, let's imagine that one. Imagine that's a 9 and it's increased. So now this has a value of 10. We can't create values more than 9 in these two squares now. And the only way of creating 9 would be double 8, both increased, and we can't put double 8 into the row. So the 9, wherever it is the 9, wherever it is an orange digit. So now we actually specifically know that it's no longer possible, is what I'm claiming, for this to be the case round this edge, because then the 9 is getting valued at 10 and it's internal to the sequence, and there's no way you could connect two digits. You could do the 8 could become valued 9, but the 7 could only get to a value of 8, and that is not consecutive with 10, which would be the value of the 9. Right, so now we know there's two colours here. This is getting more interesting, because now orange, let's say this square was orange and these squares were all green. Well, then we know there cannot be any green here between this orange and these oranges on the perimeter, so the orange would go right round the top like this. Similarly, if this is orange, the orange will go all the way along the bottom, which it doesn't do. This is beautiful setting. Oh goodness, imagine this was orange. Let me just show you. If that's orange, and let's say all of those were green, just to highlight the problem. Now we know now we can't have any greens in this segment. And just to remind you why that is, imagine that's green. We have to connect this green to it. We do that, and this orange is isolated, so we can't do that. So everything here now would have to be orange, and these two would both be orange, yet they're single cell segments. That's impossible. You'd have to put the same digit into both for them to have the same value. So this is not what is happening. This must be orange. This must be green, is what we're basically being told, because we know there is some green down here. So the orange goes across the top. That's green to avoid a 2 by 2. And somehow or other, we're presumably meant to know. Well, hang on, don't we know? Yeah, we now know, because of what's gone on here, there is a change of colour. One of these is green and one of these is orange, and we know the order, because if it was this way round, we'd have too many changes of colour going around the perimeter, so it's the other way round. That's green, that's orange, the oranges join up there, the greens join up here, this is green to avoid a 2 by 2, and we're in a better place than we were, he says. We are in a better place. We've learnt more about colouring, but we haven't really learnt. We know that, okay, we know the 9 is being reduced. We worked that out, didn't we? So that as the 9 is in one of these 3 squares, that one must be a reducer, because that's the earliest the 9 could be. If the 9 was there, these are both orange as well. So this is definitely a reducer. And the 9 is going to have a value of 8. Right. So hang on. Right. Is this? I think this is parity actually. He says we've got a sequence that is made up of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 3 odd digits in there, and each of those odd digits is going to be adjusted up or down and become a value, have an even value. And each of the even digits in this sequence is going to be adjusted up or down by 1 and have an odd digit, an odd value. So the net effect of that is that in order that this is still a 5-cell sequence and it oscillates between odd and even numbers, which it has to do because of each white dot, the more numerous digits, which are the odd digits, have to be in those 3 positions. That must be right, mustn't it? Although the odd digits become even once they're adjusted, there are 3 of them, and so they have to be here. So these are not 6s and 8s. Right, so that seems to suggest 9. See, that's weird. 9 going in the corner was not what I thought 9 would be in one of these squares, actually. Okay, if 9 goes in the corner, it must have a value of 8. Yeah, but actually that could work. Yeah, okay. So I think the logic is good. I think we've got to use parity here. We get a 9 in the corner. No, I was hoping it was going to clear fog, but of course it doesn't. And we know the 9 is reducing. That is something we do know. So the 9 goes to a reducer here. So it has a value of 8. But this square, it can't be a 6 because that's going to have a value of 5 and these won't be consecutive. So that's got to be 8. Similarly, that's got to be 7. Now this has got to be 6 and this has got to be 5. Oh, we got some more things. Now this one, so this has a value of 8. We need this to have a value of 7, so that is an increaser. This is, I mean, it's strange and sort of wonderful, isn't it? I don't think I'm not finding it very easy at all. Now, 9 is in one of those 3 squares by Sudoku and one of these 3. And right, can we do any? Yes. Right, look at these 3 squares. 2 of those are orange. Well, it's not those 2, because that's going to make a 2 by 2, so that's definitely orange. Now we've got to avoid a 2 by 2 here, so that's definitely green. Now I've got to avoid a 2 by 2, so that's definitely orange. Now I've got to avoid a checkerboard, so that's definitely orange. Right, here's a little point. Here is a little point. These 2 digits here, one of them is orange, one of them is green. Now, that means whichever way round they go, this green at the bottom, look at this green slice, it's not getting to connect to the rest of its green friends by travelling up column 2, because one of those is definitely orange. So I think it's got to go there. And that does nothing. Oh well, it was a good thought. And on, do I know something about those cells? They differ in value by 2, don't they? Because one of the digits is going down and one of them's going up. So they have the same parity. So if they were 2 and 4, then that would be net worthy of 3. That's not much. Hang on, they've got the same parity, so they don't involve 7, do they? Because 7 would need to be with a 5 or a 9. Because let's say the 7 was reduced, it would have a value of 6. So in order to get to a 6, you'd need a 5 being increased. So it's either a 2 and a 4 or a 1 and a 3. It can't be 1 and 3, can it? Hang on. 1 and 3, they have a value of 2 to equate across the line. Can you make 2 digits have a value of 2 in this puzzle? And the answer to that is if they were a 1, 2... Actually, that's interesting. They can't both be reducers either. That is really fascinating. Yeah, this doesn't work. In fact, it really doesn't work. Because it's not possible for both of those to be orange, because it would isolate this green. At least one of these is green. That means that, let's say, 1 green and 1 orange existed here. The net effect on the digits we actually place in this sort of offset domino, the net effect, the best we can do in terms of their value is to preserve them at their natural value, because we can increase 1 and decrease 1. The only other option would be to increase both and make them both green. Now, so the minimum value these could have would be if they were a 1-2 pair and added up to 3. And so this can't work, because this would have a value of 2, and we cannot get to a value of 2 in here. So given that I think the parity of these has to be the same, I think we're only left with 2 and 4 now, which means, which now that does have a value of 3. How do we create a value of 3 along here? We must have a 1-2 pair. And because one of these has to be green, the other has to be orange, because we must have a net effect. So these are of different parity. Not parity, different coloration, sorry. And the 4 is going downwards, isn't it? So the 4 is going downwards, the 2 is going upwards. Oh, hang on, what did that do? Okay, it put that one in. Now that 2, 1, 3, 7, 8. 1 in the bottom row has to be here, because there's a 1-2 pair here. And that's not 4. We'll take the small wins. I tell you what's interesting about this. Presumably the way the dynamic fog is working, we are being told that these two are in some way, the revelation of this black Kropke dot is in some way useful. Which doesn't seem right. Oh, hang on. Oh, yes, well, I can see. Yes, okay, it is useful. That's weird. Yeah. Okay, I suddenly realised, whoa, those 2 digits are massive. And that's not going to work. Well, it does work one way, because one of these digits has a value that's double the other. How on earth? This one is increasing. So the only way I can see this working is if we made them have 5 and 10 as the 2 values. There's simply no other 1-to-2 ratio possible there, is there? So that's got to be 9. This has got to be 6. This has got to be reducing. So now 5 versus 10 to make sure we've got the correct ratio. That green has got to get out. These squares are a 7-8 pair by Sudoku. This square, do we know what colour that is? No. No is the short answer. This square is green because avoid a 2 by 2 there. So that's increasing its value. Yeah, see, it's really weird the way this works. We know that the value for this line is 10. So if this is green, these actually sum to 8. But if this is orange, these sum to 10 because they have a net effect. It's sort of the adjustments are balanced out. If that's orange, then to avoid a checkerboard, that's orange. And that would be green. And that would be green. This is not a 9 anymore. I mean, am I being a bit slow here, or I mean, what on earth are we meant to do? What am I meant to... Oh, 9 is in one of those. Nine is in one of these. Is there going to be some reason you can't put 9 on a black... We've just found that you can put 9 on a black dot. I am very confused by this. This is a black dot. I don't know the colour. I know they both... I was going to say, I know they both can't be reducers, but they could both be increasers, couldn't they? I know... Okay, hang on. We know one of these is an increaser and one of them is a decreaser. So if... Okay, here is a weird point. I want to say both of those are green. And the way I'm seeing that is that this is one of each. Now, if this was green, this is definitely orange. And this green has to connect to its friends, which makes both of those green. If, on the other hand, this is orange, then to avoid a 2 by 2 here, this is green and it has to get out. So those are always green. Which means this digit, which we don't have a clue about, it's not... Well, it could be an 8, actually. Although, if it's 8, it would have a value of 9. And that cannot have a value of 4.5. So this is a smallish digit. I'm just going to fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I could see it couldn't be 6, 7, or 9. So it's an increasing value from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again. Oh, no. Well, I'm wondering if it's parity again. Like, if that's 4, increasing to have a value of 5, this either has to be 10 or 2.5. That's not possible. So that is not 4. If this is 2, it has a value of 3, which means this is 1.5 or 6, and they are not possible. So this is odd. Well, it's odd. It's odd unadulterated. It becomes worth even, but that doesn't tell us the parity of this, because of course you could halve. If this was a 2, half of 2 is 1. Although you could, how would you create a value of 1? Actually, maybe. So maybe this can't be 1. If it's 1, its value is 2. Oh no, but then that could be a 4. Bobbins. I don't know. I'm not sure then. Sorry. Okay, that feels very complicated. What on earth? I got that was the big reveal, wasn't it? That was the thing that we learned. That gave me a 7-8 pair. Is that doing something? No. Well, if it might be. I don't know. How peculiar. Is it going to be... Oh, sorry, that's a 9. I can do Sudoku. Thank goodness for that. I couldn't see what to do at all. Didn't clear any fog, but that's a 9. Oh, good. Okay, we've just learnt something more. And what's more, we've got another of these 9s on black dots. So, how's that working for us? We don't know the value of this because we don't know what colour it is. So it's either got a value of 10, which would mean this has to have a value of 5, which would make... Well, that's impossible, actually. So we are going to learn the colours of this. Because if this is 10, so if it's green, this can't be 20. There's no way. Not even in a Wushel puzzle is this 20. So this is 5, which means it's 4 or 6 up or down, and it can't be 4 or 6. So this is lowering itself. This is a value of 8, and this is 16, which is impossible, or a value of 4, which means it's 3 or 5 being changed. But whatever this is, it has an effect on that, doesn't it? Because that domino adds up to 10. So... Well, okay, but we don't know. So, okay, so if this is 3, it's green, because it's got to be increased to have a value of 4. So it's green, 3 has a value of 4. This has to have a value of 6, which means it's 5 or 7. Don't know. And if this is 5, it's orange, and this has to have a value of 5, which means it's 4 or 6. I'm staring at it, sort of trying to work out whether either of those options is troubling to us, and I don't understand why they are. Maybe it's yin-yang. If that's orange... No, I don't understand why that's a problem. If that's green, I don't see why that's a problem either. What about this one? If that's orange, that's green. Orange. That would be orange. So if this is orange, these are both orange. To avoid a checkerboard. Let's just check that's right. Because making that orange makes that green, and now to avoid a checkerboard, this is definitely orange. So that's true. What about if this is green, though? If that's green, how do we know what this is? We know it's got the value of 4. This has to have the value of 6. Hang on, why have I got even numbers in here? That's nonsense. Sorry. Something has gone awry here. Because I know this has a value of 4, don't I? So I know this has a value of 6. So it is 5 or 7. We just don't know its colour. Oh, I see, yeah. So if this is one of each... Then they have to add up to naked 10. That would work, 3 and 7. If they're both low, they have to then have a value of 12, 5 and 7. And if they're both green, 3 and 5 would push them both up by 1 and give us a value of 10. And all options are on the table. Okay, but look, we got something else, didn't we? We got something here. Oh, lordy, what does this mean? We got 9 on a string of white dots. So, okay. So it's got to be something to do with parity, doesn't it? I mean, I want to say this has got to be an. I want to say that's got to be an 8. That might be totally and utterly nonsense, but that's what my brain is saying. Because just to explain that, again, whichever of these is 9, it gets adjusted, so it becomes even. So this digit, in order to be consecutive with that digit, that value, must become an odd digit. So it has to be an even digit. Now, if it was 4, how could it possibly be consecutive with an adjusted 9? It can't be. That's 8. Boom. That's about the first intelligent thing I've done, I think. Oh, now there is an 8 look on this one, which feels very odd. So this 8, do we know whether it's being increased or decreased? 7. No, maybe we don't. Although, hang on, this digit, if that's a 9... What happens if that's not 9? It can't. It would have to be a 6, but it couldn't be 6. It would be the wrong parity. Yeah, I think this has to be 9. If this wasn't 9, let's just think this through. If this wasn't 9, we know by parity this is an odd digit. The maximum it could be would be 5. It could have a value, therefore, of 6. But this can't have a value of 6 and 7. Sorry, I'm wrong. I'm just talking absolute gibberish. Because this is, I forgot, this is getting adjusted. Oh, goodness. It must be so easy to... I mean, I might have already done it. But I think it would be incredibly easy to make a mistake on this puzzle. There, I've said it. Okay. Yeah, here's something a bit different. There is a 7 on this little ring around the rosy. Okay. I don't understand that. I've been pushed off that. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to think about parity around this loop. Now, ordinarily, a white dot loop like this is nonsensical, because you're sort of, imagine this was with unadulterated digits. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'd have to say the 4 and the 1 was somehow consecutive. Now, that clearly can't be true. So something very strange is happening in this sequence in order to adjust and make it work. But what we do know is, again, the parity as we move around the loop has to oscillate, because we're adjusting everything by 1, so in the adjusted world we're still oscillating parity. Now, if there is an 8 in one of these squares, and there is, well, I mean, it doesn't matter, but clearly this domino needs to have an even digit on it. Now, that's not 6 or 8. Now, I'm going to dispute. It can't possibly be 2, can it? You can't get 2 and 8 to connect to each other with only 2 white dots between them. So there is a 4 for sure in one of those squares. And I feel, how does that work then? If the 4 had a value of 5, 5, 6, 7, 8 could be the values. I'm wondering if we can... I don't know, actually. I'm not... This is the question, isn't it? Does this have to contain 5, or does it contain 9? Now, if it contains 9, the sequence, the 9 would be up here in a reducer, and the sequence would go 8, 7. And then we would need something with the value of 6, which would have to be a 5 increasing. So this would be a 4-5 pair, and that would be 5. That's not in the right place. Yeah, I mean this is really difficult to see, but let me explain. So 9 would be here. 8 would be here. That's Sudoku. That's nothing more than that. So value 8, value 7. This needs to be with a value 8 digit. Sorry, no, it doesn't. No, that's not true. It has a value of 8. This would need to be a 7 or a 9. So it's not the 4. The 4 would have to go here. And this has a value of 7 because it's an 8 reduced. And this would have to have a value of at least 6, and it's a 4, so it cannot be correct. So what that means is that this is not 9. It means that this is 9. Oh no, which didn't clear any fog. Does it have to clear the fog? Maybe not. The rules say correctly entered digits may clear parts of the fog. I mean, that felt logical. How many 9s have I put in the grid? All of them. Although, okay, so this has a value of 8 because it's in the thingy, the funny thing. So this has a value of 7 or 9. I still don't know then. But if this had a value of 9, i.e. this was green, this square would have to have a value of 8, and it would have to be a 7 or a 9, and it couldn't be by Sudoku. So this is a reducer, and this is now green. So this has a value of 7, so this has a value of 6 or 8. You can't create a value of 8 because 9 and 7 are not available. So this has a value of 6, which means it's 5. That's the strangest thing. It's a 5 increased in value. Avoid a checkerboard there. So this is apparently a sequence 8, 7, 6. I mean, it does feel like it works. It just is bonkers. Now that's also green to avoid a checkerboard there. That's now orange. Here we go. This isn't 5. That's not 4, is it? Because in this little panoply, we know we've got 8, 7, we've got 4, we've got another odd digit which is now 5. Just let me think about that. I think, is that true actually? Is it just possible that this is a 3-4 pair and this is a 7-8 pair, and the 7 and the 8 become worth 7 and 6, and the 3 and 4 become 5 and 4? Maybe that's possible. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I'm sure we can do better. I'm sure we can do better than that. In fact, look, if there was a 5, no, we wouldn't know still. We'd know the 5 was in one of those. We know the 8 and the 4 are opposite, don't we? So they're on the wings of a diagonal. They're either there and there or there and there. So 4 in column 1 is in one of those squares. I think this is where I'm meant to look. I feel like I haven't exhausted all the logic that we can extract from that. Just let me just have a quick look around and see if there's anything easier to spot. No. I'm not seeing anything actually. Okay. So this sequence, can we do anything clever with it? Or is there some sort of Sudoku thing that we could do with it? Maybe 7. Oh no, I hardly know anything about 7s. There's a 7 in one of those. Now if 7 was here... Oh, both of these are increasing. Oh, this is good. Right, good. I'm going right off that. I couldn't understand how to do it, but I can do this. These two squares are both increasing to get to a value of 10. So they've got a value of 8 in naked terms. They're not 3, 5, and they're not 2, 6. So this is 1, 7, and I know where the 7 goes. So that's 7. That's 1. Boom. I got something down at the bottom from that. This is now not 7. So this is an 8, 7 pair. Both being reduced, which does, I think, allow this to be... Well, it's 3, 4, 5. I don't know which I think is... That's not 5. So that is 3 or 4. One of these is 4. But, okay. So the value of these two is 7, 6. The value of the 4 must be 5. So we've got 7, 6, 5. Oh, but hang on, I've got to connect. Hang on, one thing I haven't thought about. I can't just have a sequence that is... No, I can't have a 4-cell sequence. It is 5, isn't it? Sorry, I've been thick. Because I've forgotten that it's a continuous round robin here. So I've been thinking, oh, I could have 8, 7, and then 3, 4 on the basis that the 3 and the 4 increase in value to become worth 4 and 5, and I'd have a 4, 5, 6, 7 sequence. But how am I going to connect that round the houses? You can't do it. In fact, this sequence has to go 7, 6, 5, 6, I think. It's got to sort of go round in a loop, so that is going to have to be the 5, increasing to have a value of 6. So this has to be different parity, doesn't it? So that's got to be the 8. That's going to be a 4. That's going to be a 7. That didn't clear any fog. But does it work? Well, it only works if you increase this one. Which makes that one orange. Now let's think about this if it works. So we go 7, 6, 5, 6, 7. So it does work. That's mind melting. Absolutely mind melting. Right, I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in row 2 now. I'm seeing in the gaps. I'm sorry if you got cross with me about being slow there. I just forgot that the white dots were a unit, if you like. I haven't used this thing either, have I? That got revealed by something I did up here. That's not a 1. So 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1 in this box is restricted. It's got to be in there. That doesn't seem to do anything at all. This became worth 1 or 3, but it's being adjusted up, so it's 2 or 4. So the values of this are 1, 2, 4, or it can't be 8. 1, 2, or 4 into this square. That's the value this needs to have. So what can I take out? Can I take the 4 out? Okay, yeah, the 4 comes out because 3 and 5 are not useful values. I don't think I know the colour of it, and I don't know what number goes into it. This is really weird. Where? Oh no, that's a bad question. 7 is in one of those squares in column 2. I mean, it can't be this, can it? Is that somehow under pressure? It just can't be. Do I know the colours involved in it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I just don't know. Okay. I want to say it's got an 8 on it. 8 in this row is either there or it's on the... I mean, a black dot 8 feels right. Oh, so it gets a... Oh, no, hang on. Hang on. It's no, that's totally wrong. Okay, it's not got 8. This is 8. This is weird and totally obvious, I know, to some of you, but not obvious to me. My brain is so programmed with 8 being a black dottable digit. I have not thought about this, but in this puzzle, how could you ever put 8 on a black dot? It can't go on it, because its value gets changed to be 7 or 9, and then they have to be in relationships with 3.5s or 4.5s, or huge digits, 14s and 18s. It just doesn't work at all. Sorry, this is an 8. It might not do anything, but it's so true. Aha, that is a 1-8 pair. Yes, right, this is an 8. That's a 1. There's an 8 in one of those squares, 1 in one of these squares. This... Ooh, 3 in the corner is possible. Look, 3-7 pair here. Those squares are 5 and 6. Now... Well, actually, I say they're 5 and 6. I know the order, actually. That's 6. That's 5 on the black dot, which is just such a strange... That's a 3. So... It had to have a value of 4, so we can remember that. That's increasing. Now, this has to have a value of 6. I don't know. That's so strange. Right, that's not 3 or 5. Whoa, I don't know what I did then. I had my fingers on the wrong thing. That's a 1 or a 2. Ah, is that right? I don't trust what I just did then at all. Sorry, I'm going to go back because I tried to take 3 and 5 out of that. There is a 1-2 pair left. Yeah, where's 7 in this column? It's there. That's 8. Now, hang on. There's a 2x2 avoidance problem there. And now there's a checkerboard avoidance problem. So we are building up a green thing in the grid. And this digit is an 8 by Sudoku. That's great. That's great. That means this is 8 by Sudoku. Let's double click our 8s, see if we can do more. Yeah, we can. That's an 8 by Sudoku. Whoa, okay. That's a very cool thing to happen. Right, but okay, this is increasing. So that's a 5. That's not a 5 anymore. And what does that mean? Probably something, he says helpfully. Let's see if we can do anything with that. Where is 7 in box 8? The answer is there. Okay, I still haven't figured out this black dot, have I? We're going to have to think about this. So, this digit is worth 4 or 6, depending on its adjustment. So if it becomes worth 6, this square has to have a value of 3. I don't believe it. Do we know its colour? No, we don't. If that's worth 6, it's green. These were one of each, weren't they? We needed to stabilise the value of those two squares by increasing one and decreasing the other. So one of those is orange, one of those is green. So at least one of the digits on this, yes, at least one of the digits on this dot is green. Maybe they're both green, but at least one is green. And the reason we know that is we've got to get this green out. Remember here, there's an orange and a green, so the green isn't getting out that way. Now, if this was orange, the green obviously has to come there. But if this is green, that's orange. So one of those at least would have to be green to get this green up the grid. What? Okay, let's think about Sudoku. This digit is 3, 4, 5, or it's 3, 4, or 6, I think. 3, 4, or 6. But it's getting adjusted. How could this ever be 6? It can't be 6, can it? That's just nonsense. Because it's a value, its adjusted value would be 5 or 7, which is not going to work with this. If this is 3, oh no, that could work. If this is 3 gets reduced to a 2, no, but then they would both be orange. Ah, there is something here. There is something here. Yeah, okay. So I think we have to make a decision. If that's orange, we know that this is green, because we have to get green out, and this can't work because that becomes worth 4, and that is not going to be in the correct ratio. So this square is not orange, it is green, so it's worth 6. So this has to be worth 3, and therefore it can't be a 3, it must be a 4. Oh, no fog clearance, and it must be reduced. So no 4 here. No 4 here, Sudoku is telling me, by this 4. So there's a 4 we can place in box 7. Which is very annoying, because it doesn't seem to do anything. What? Okay, what? Oh, I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple. Sorry, has that been there for ages? I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in row something. So this is a 6, just by Sudoku. So these squares are 3 and 5 by Sudoku. This is not 3. I've got a 1, 2 pair. These squares are a 2, 3, 4 triple. So I need 1, 5, 6 into the middle box. This is not 1, that's 5 or 6. 1, 5, 6, that's not 5. It's a spectacular puzzle, this. It makes you question it makes you lose your marbles, basically. At least that's what it's done to me. I feel it makes you feel absolutely inept. That's quite a good way of putting it. Okay, what do we do with the drunken sailor? No, not the drunken sailor. What do we do with next? Checkerboard. Let's avoid a checkerboard down there. So that's got to be green, which means that's orange to preserve the value of this. That means that's green, look, which means that's green to avoid this checkerboard. So this is double increases. Could go to the green here, which would force the orange out. The green has now, though, it has made its escape from the south part of the grid, hasn't it? It's got up this side. And do we know what this digit is? 1, 2, 3, or no, 2, 3, or 6. Do we know what colour this is? I don't know. It's going to be something to do with this line, isn't it? Which I haven't really given a great deal of thought. Both of those are increases. Which is presumably of some relevance. Sorry, I'm just trying to think this through. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. This is quite a small digit, actually. That's 1, 2, 3, or 4, I think. I don't know what to do. Come on, Simon. What do we do now? So this is okay. These are getting increased. So the values here are 8 plus 1 is 9, but then we're increasing both of those digits. So 11 or 11 and 14, is that right? If these were 12 and we increased both? 11, 12, 13 or 14. So if that was a 6, but it's getting reduced, and then that would work, wouldn't it? So if this was 8, 4, both increased, it has a value of 14. Then these squares would be 9. Oh, hang on. I thought that worked. Now I'm not sure. If these have a negative, yeah, this could be 13, couldn't it? If this was 9, 6, that's 15. Adjust both downwards. That's 13. I can definitely get there. I just need to make these add up to 11, and I can do that, I think. Oh no, well maybe I can't actually. I've just realised I can't put 3 here. Hang on, I'm going to look at this again. I'm reviewing the situation. It's wrong to be a rogue in every way, so a job I'm getting possibly. I wonder who my boss will be. I wonder if he'll take to me, what bonuses he'll make to me. I'll start at 8 and finish late at overtime and over 8. I think I better think it out again. 15. So the minimum value that can have is 13. So it's so this is either worth, if this was 6, this is either worth 13 or 15. I.e. if this is green. 13 or 15. How do you make that here? The point is, we need to change the parity, and the only way, in terms of we can't make. Oh no, okay. We're increasing by 2, so we're preserving whatever parity is in the naked numbers. So we need this to be a 1, and that only gets us to 11, which is wrong. So that is not 6. Okay. Does that do anything? Yes. 1, 2, 3, triple in this column. That is a 6. No fog revealed. That is not a 6. Oh, where can I get 6 in? Oh, that's a weird one. No, apparently I can't. I thought I would be able to get 6 over here, but no. Okay. That isn't a 3. Which... Oh, no. Sorry. 3, 5. This is 3, 5 or 6. Where's 5 in that box? Oh, there's 4 5s pointing at that box. Sorry, that's totally obvious. No 3 in the corner, but that's not 5. 5. Has that done anything? I fear not, unfortunately. How can that do nothing at all? We got a 5. Every digit is quite hard won, isn't it? It really is. These could be either parity. Can we get rid of 6? That's quite, actually, there's quite a, yeah, hang on. If that's 6, the minimum value of those 3 digits is big. It is 16. So, but I could deduct 3 from that if I negate them all. So 13 is the absolute minimum value of those if that is 6. Can we get 13 there? No. No, we can't, can we? Because we need to preserve the parity. So this would have to be 1 in the event. Yeah, that's quite so it's parity again, I think. What I'm seeing... Actually, let's be careful, though. We have to be careful. So those digits add up to at least 16. What sort of adjustments could we cater for? We could reduce them all by 3. Reduce them all by 1, which takes a net 3 adjustment. So that gets us to 13, which we cannot make here. So that's no good. But can we adjust these by just 1? Maybe, yes. If both of those were even, and that was odd, then there would be a net 1 adjustment to the total. The point is we could do a net 1 adjustment. So our, what was it, 16 total could be worth 15. Oh, that's still no good. Because we need 14, don't we? That's the most I can make here. If this is 4 and this is 8, I could make 14. But I don't think... Yeah, the point is I can't adjust these by 2. It just doesn't work. The maths just doesn't allow for it. So I think this is a 1. And this makes that a 5 and that a 6. And that a 3. Ha 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 ha. Right, okay, so now we're off and running again. Probably. He says. I'm just trying to think this through. Okay, so these squares. Ah, that's a 2. That's a naked single. That's probably been there for ages and I just didn't see it. What are these squares? 4 and something. 4 and 6. How is that not resolved? 4 and 6 there. This is a 3, so that's not a 3. So there's a 3 in one of the... Oh, no 3 in the corner. That's 3, that's 7. That's 7 by Sudoku. That's 7 by Sudoku. I keep thinking it's going to reveal fog and it just won't, will it? Okay, that's no longer a 6. So this is a 6. So we're left with 1, 2 and 4 to place in this box. This square is a... No, 2 or a 4. We don't know which. 2, 3, 4, 6. 2, 3, 6 into that square. I'm going to end up with full pencil marking here. Okay, can I do my parity thing here now? Because I know that, yeah, I know the, okay, yes, I can. These 3 digits add up to an odd number. Now, I am adjusting those 3 digits by 1 an odd number of times, so the overall total I am going to get there is even, isn't it? I do not see how that is not the case. If I adjust, yeah, I mean, let's just think it through. I adjust the 1, that becomes even. I adjust that, that becomes odd. So I'm on an odd total, and that's odd. So I'm on an overall even total. So in order to make sure that's even overall, and it must be to preserve the line, that has to be same parity. And here, oh, see, now it might be complicated here though. So we know that these add up to, we need these to add up to an even value, don't we? And that's going to have an even value. So this needs to have an even value. And therefore that has to be a 3 because it's getting adjusted. There we go. That's another small win for the goodies. Ah, now I've got a 3 there. That's a 1. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. We're going to have to think that through. Oh, that's a 3 in the middle. Now what's this? No, it's not. It's 5. It's 5. Okay, that's a 5. That doesn't seem to do anything at all. 2, 3 and 4. That's a 2 naked single, isn't it? Right, that's 4. That's... Oh, that's just cleared fog. I don't know what that just did. It definitely cleared fog. That's now 1. That's a 3. Okay, let's just keep going and hope that we haven't made a ricket. That is a 3. That's a 1. So what's this? It's not 3, it's 2 or 6. And that digit in the corner is 2 or 6. And I've nearly finished the puzzle, but this one hasn't been revealed. It's really weird. It's very disconcerting as well. Okay, so what do we have to do? What have I not filled in? I mean, there's going to be all sorts of things probably. That's not a 1, is it? something has got to disambiguate what we've got left. Where do I think that's happening? Yes, it's going to be, okay, it's the maths, isn't it? It's going to be the maths. So, do we yet know what the total is for this line? This is a value of 2. So this is either a value of 10 or 8. So we're either looking for a total value along the line of 10 or 12. This can't have a value of 10 because both of these are being increased. So the value must be 12, i.e. this is an 8-2 pair. Oh, that did it. Okay, thank goodness for that. Is that some dot we didn't have before? Right, so 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 6, 4, 2, 6. And now the puzzle's done, but I have no faith at all. Well, I haven't done any of the shading. This is a value of 2 across a black dot. That must have a value of 4. So that is increased. Therefore, we know they were one of each. So that is a thing we've learned. Now, what's going on here? This is a value of 3. So that's got to have a value of 6. So that's decreased. This has to have a value of 12 because that was the total here. So that has to be increased in value. Avoid a checkerboard there. This green has got to get out, so that's got to go through there. And it's all going to be about this middle section of line. It's a fascinating puzzle, this. Okay, so how does this work? We've got 1 at the moment. We need these to have a value of 11. And they have a value of 9 naked, so they both need to be increased. And hopefully this isn't oh, that's got to get out now. So that's got to come down there. That's got to avoid a 2 by 2. And that's got to get out. There we go, that must be right. There is simply no way that that puzzle can solve at the end. And, you know, and sort of feel like it worked. That could not happen by accident. Because it's so intricate. That's one of the most, it felt like one of the most intricate things I've ever done on the channel in terms of, you know, all of the, I mean, look at these black dots, 4, 5 here. It just looks so wrong. 3, 9, 2, 7. It's so nice. It's just nonsensical. And yet it works. It's a strange puzzle in a strange land, Wushel. It certainly is, but I enjoyed it very much. Is it correct? It must be correct. It is correct. Gosh, it's had a lot of souls quite quickly as well. Fantastic. Fantastic. Wushel, take a bow. I'm going to go and put a cold towel round my head and have a quiet cry. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.